Bad bitch, sweeter than molasses. Shit got gliss on my wrist like a maverick bitch.
Like 3-6. Now I'm feeling so fly, like a G6, like a G6, like a G6. Frostbite kiss, lips cut through the haze. Gothic goddess in a northern maze. Drumbeat heart lost in her face. Black rose bloom set the stage ablaze. Hell yeah, dude, she got that fire. Cold night queen, the dark's desire. From the tundra's edge to city spires. Crows take flight, gothic choir.
What up, guys? Welcome in. We are doing some true crime with Savage Haley today. Let me mute this shite. I'm directly copying your trigger warning because I am too tired to write my own. Okay, thanks.
It's okay.
I'm like,
You can do that.
tired. I'm way too tired to fucking. Honey, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, I messed up my fucking heart thing.
That's not what I'm saying. You have to do it through
I know.
YouTube, not YouTube, Discord.
I know. I'm getting there.
Oh my god, I almost just choked on my shake, brother. What the fuck? Almost killed me literally on stream. Good job.
You're welcome.
I understand that it's True Crime Friday, brother, but like, you don't need to get caught in that shit. Let's calm down. What the fuck? There we go.
You're welcome. Can you see it?
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Oh, it's freezing in here all of a sudden.
Charismatic,
opinionated.
I have to point out he was short, but he was
Fucking cock rabbit!
animated,
Kind.
jubilant,
devilish.
laid back, very approachable.
Can I say
Scared the
things that
shit
are,
out of me, brother.
completely flattering?
Oh, I'm breathing.
He had the capacity to have the worst possible gas.
He'd be proud of that, yeah.
Hi, Immortal.
He was a hell of a guy.
He was just so intelligent.
What's up,
And,
Immortal? Excuse me. Oh. Why are you I hate when they apologize for crying. It makes me so depressed.
I'm sad. I'll tell you about it someday.
Do you know who that is?
Andrew.
You know who Andrew is?
I don't know.
Y'all get the tissues, bruh?
Why did Andrew get killed?
Because somebody hurt him, buddy.
I'm an only child, and I'll get around to why this is of any importance whatsoever, but... Trust me, there's a theme.
Where were you when you found out?
Melanie, who's on the front desk, calls back and says, Kate, there's a policeman from Sunnyvale on the line for you. Do you want to talk to him? And I said, oh yeah, put it through to the office. Are you Kathleen Bagby? I said, yes. I've got a message here from Pennsylvania. You're to call this number. It's the coroner's office. You've got bad news. I said, is my son dead? And he said, I can't tell you that, madam. He said, but you've got terrible news. I dialed this number that he'd given me, and it was a man, an irate man. The coroner's office was closed down. There's nothing he could do about it. You'd have to call back tomorrow morning. I called back to the Sunnyvale police station, so he...
What's cracking, Immortal? We're doing good, brother. This fucking documentary is really, really, really sad. Okay? It hits home a little too hard for me. And I know it's gonna hit corny. But I feel like it needs to be seen because I had never seen this before and this is fucking insane. But we're doing good. Chilling.
He gave me another number, and then I got through to Sergeant Krulak, and he said, your son is dead under suspicious circumstances. Have you got any idea why he was in the park? I said, my son is dead. Murdered? He said yes. And then I called...
Don't feel bad. We love scaring dude.
I said to him... And
yeah, we're good, brother.
And he said no. And I heard him throw the phone. I called Sergeant Krulak back and I said, you know, we're coming. And he said, well, that's good.
Through that flight, we thought we'd go get Andrew and bring him back to California and get everything organized, whatever, and then kill ourselves, because no point going on. That was the first plan.
Can you hear it okay, Immortal? Is it loud enough?
I came home and there was a message. It was Tuesday.
Doing something. I was in the living room on the couch.
Always, brother.
Got a kick in the head.
Everybody always says, well, what would be the difference if one person
I came home on November 7th, 2001 to find a message from my sister.
Hi, Tyler. It's about 9:15.
At 3:41 p.m., I called her back. She told me to sit down.
Fucking old ass, bro. Shut up, Immortal.
Original news, they said unidentified man in his 30s was found in hospital scrubs. None of those words described who he was.
28 years old, bro. A year older than me. That's crazy.
This person, this wonderful person, was hurt.
We met in first grade at St. Andrew's School in Saratoga, California, and I soon came to think of him as my closest friend. It was here, in the San Jose Bay Area, scattered across the suburbs that make up Silicon Valley, that we There was Chris.
Do I remember how I met Andrew? It was second grade.
And Matt.
I can say without shame that we bathed together.
Michelle.
Okay. First friend I made my first day of school.
John.
We met the first day of class because of our names, Atkinson and Bagby.
Olivier.
We talked for about 20-30 minutes and I realized, wow, this guy's pretty cool.
Heather.
Oh, I'm sure you guys hear things I didn't get to hear. Between the two of us, we might actually be able to put together a half-decent story.
And there was me. My name's Kurt and I'm a filmmaker.
I'm Kurt Kenny and I play.
Hi, Frizz. How are you?
In every movie I made growing up.
28 for the win.
He loved playing bad guys.
Shut up! Jeff, let's go, Ken.
Hey, son. You must be a smart boy.
And having a free pass to smoke and swear in front of his parents.
I will fuck you! Kiss my ass, you son of a bitch! Christ!
Good little actor, bro.
Fuck you! Fuck all you fucking people!
I did not say that F word. I'm sorry.
Which was probably kind of a cool release for a kid who made Eagle Scout by age 15.
This is Bagby, having watched it where Andrew was running around yelling and screaming.
Good. We're watching a
that's
true crime documentary. We do this every Friday. And it's gonna be really fucking sad.
Actually, I even got Venom.
Love that.
Bitch, you little shit!
You're a pain in the arse.
You little bastard!
Does that give you the right to go yelling about your penis on the air?
It wasn't always fun and games.
Yeah, it's super fun.
Did I actually hit you?
I didn't hurt your hand, did I?
Yes, but don't worry about it. And if you knee me in the balls again, I'm gonna kill you.
And I know I drove him nuts sometimes.
Could you do that one more time? One more time.
Okay, one more time.
One more time. I want to see that one more time. That was perfect.
Famous one more time.
Asshole.
If I hear him say one more time, I'm gonna wring his neck.
Jesus Christ. Kurt, what do you want?
No, I just need. I'm just getting.
But despite it all, he always supported me.
Kurt, another winner. Yes. What are you trying to do?
This man.
Give our genius a heart attack?
Fucker, Carrie!
He even invested in my first feature film that he was working to save for medical school.
Everything was perfect. I don't know what happened. We got bigger and we got laid.
At his memorial service, I talked with his med school friend Anthony,
We
who
are
told
watching
me
one of the major things that
True
Andrew and I
Crime
did together,
because we do this every
that
Friday.
we had
And Haley wanted to show me this because
I
apparently
had
it
no
takes
idea he
place in
took
Canada.
pictures. I've known him for 22 years.
So yeah.
What else didn't I know? I was never going to get to visit him.
I
in his
needed
hospital
her
and
to
see
see
what he was
this,
like as a
bro.
doctor. I would never
How
be
are
going
you?
to
I
his
hope you're
wedding
doing
where I
well.
would finally meet his entire family at the reception. He would never be telling me anything I didn't already know about him. So I decided to make this movie, to travel far and wide, to interview everyone who ever knew and loved him, to learn everything there was to know, and to make one last movie.
So his best friend that he had since they were super young filmed all of this. Okay? He did all the interviews and everything over like a year or so.
Holy shit.
Movie with him. I had no idea how many years it would take or how I would even know when I was done. But the longer I waited, the more memories would be lost. So I started at home in California, and as soon as I could, I grabbed a camera.
Okay, Andrew, ready?
And said,
Action! I had a couple gallons of water. I took a gallon of water, I put it on there, put out the fire.
How would I describe Andrew to someone who'd never met him?
The man never wore pants. He only wore shorts.
Constantly! I see smoke. Starts to billow out around the right-hand side of the cabin there.
Well, Andrew was very good at pool.
Well, quite frankly, he was a pool shark is what he was.
But he had a good teacher.
All around this side, this little bit of trees right here, all up in flames.
When we first met him, he had this thing with his fingernails.
Oh yeah, he always bites
He'd bite them.
They looked like they'd been through a shredder.
Too late. And the first place I come to calls up the fire department, ring, ring, ring. I got an answering machine. At the fire department? At the fire department.
He's probably the most determined person I ever met about doing a particular profession.
His mom worked in the business, so
We would sit and discuss a topic like venereal disease.
Mom is a nurse practitioner.
I'm impressed.
OBGYN nurse practitioner. This water bomber just crests over the hill.
Appreciate that lurk, Immortal.
Yelling water all over this thing.
You know, he didn't get an offer to come to medical school at the end of the first year. And I remember, you know, that was a big downer.
I think he felt like he wasn't, like things were kind of stalled for him, and he wasn't living up to expectations.
This guy gave me a call from the Department of Forestry and he said, well, I've gone to bat for you and it's going to be $300.
Well, what are you going to do? Okay, I'll get a job and I'll apply again. Okay, that's problem, solution.
Then about 3 weeks after that, I get a call from some lady again from the Department of Forestry saying,
Oh yeah,
why
Robin,
did
thank
you
you for
send us
being
a
here.
$300 check?
And then, of course, Heather brought home this application she'd picked up from Memorial University of Newfoundland. I had to go look at St. John's on the map when you got accepted there. I mean, I knew that's over in the East Coast.
From the land of California, Andrew Bagby came. He came to Newfoundland, set the wilderness aflame.
He says it's a $75 fine for having a campfire out of season. And it's
Fucking fly, get out of here.
turning your back on you. It's 150. But all right, tear up the check. I'll send you 150. So if you want to burn down Bay Roberts, it's $150. 3 months a day.
You know, he's now engaged with this lovely girl, and he's
So he
gonna go
moved to
med school.
Canada.
It's
That's
great.
what he did.
Graduation, he was in shorts.
Hold on a second. We'll
Fucking
come back.
fly!
Before we go any further, you've got to know what happened. The whole truth.
A majority of all this happened in Newfoundland and Pennsylvania.
It's Newfoundland. Newfoundland,
Whatever,
brother.
same
Do
shit.
not butch my fucking
It's spelled
province.
Foundland.
Over to the hospital.
I hate you.
Bill and Clark picked us up and took us over to Lach's funeral home in Greensburg, and then he took us down a stairway, gurney at the other end, with a white sheet over a body, and went over to him, and when we could see his face, I said, "It's really him." I kissed him and held him, and Kate kissed him and held him and kissed him some more. And tears are dropping on him, of course, and Kate went to wipe one of those away off his cheek. And a plug came out where he'd been shot in the left cheek. Oh, God. She pushed it back in and cried some more. After that, I lost.
God, I
it.
couldn't
just ran
imagine.
outside and screamed. I was so fucking mad I couldn't see straight. God damn it, I hated it. I've never hated like that. Didn't even know who I hated. Didn't know who it was then. Just knew that somebody purposely put him there. Whoever that is a monster.
Who hurt him?
A very bad person.
Which bad person? A lady? What's her name?
Yeah,
Don't worry.
I bought 2 of the chocolate.
What's she?
She just looks like a psychotic bitch, bro.
This is Shirley Turner, yes. Yeah, Dr. Turner, I'm Corporal Gardner with the Pennsylvania State Police.
I couldn't figure out who she was in relation to Andrew, since Andrew talked a lot about women, but never really mentioned her.
Colette, this is Bagby's new girlfriend.
It makes me sick to my stomach now, but I was so excited that he was dating somebody.
Come on, Shirley, get out from behind him.
I knew he'd been struggling with me moving on and dating other people.
Or maybe you will.
I was excited at the thought that maybe he had found somebody that he, could really be happy with. But it turned out that way.
We went to the same medical school.
You went to the same medical school?
Yeah, in Newfoundland.
Oh, is that right? In Canada?
Yeah. Can you recognize my accent?
Did you know? Yeah.
Honey, you don't have an accent. You sound like you fucking.
Literally, that's what I was thinking.
She just kind of appeared, and then she was there all the time, all of a sudden.
And just didn't seem suited for him.
Would you describe yourself as boyfriend and girlfriend?
Well, no, not really.
They did say that there was considerable age difference. And then the second time I heard him talk about it, he actually fessed to the age difference. I was like, holy shit.
I'm 40 and he's 28.
Shirley's got 3 kids. Woo!
All my kids have a different last name from me, twice divorced, so.
Oh, okay.
Me, I always had to give him a hard time, so I teased him about nailing grandma.
And she seemed so incongruous with who I would picture him with.
A person like that isn't just like completely normal and then one day they become a psycho, you know? I mean, there had to be some signs.
Should just be really inappropriate with things, poor taste things. That
Thank you, Robin. I was gonna write my own, but then I saw Haley wrote it, and I was like, fuck it, I'll just steal hers.
We never thought of her as being threatening, but just...
Too tired, too lazy.
Couldn't be bothered.
Right.
She started calling me on
I'm dead.
She talked forever.
Yeah, it's actually me who cares about you guys. She doesn't give a fuck.
Wow.
Kind of odd when I met her that she was not practicing. She had finished residency for quite some time. And
Bro, I don't care what anybody says. This man's so fine, bro.
You need Jesus.
Can we please just take a minute?
yet she was having trouble getting.
Don't tell her she will hunt you for it.
Said anything without respect to him.
I'm dead.
He wasn't putting the pieces together or something. It just makes me think he was just not caring.
He was likely 4,000 miles away from where he wanted to be for the rest of his life. He had had a very difficult kind of heartbreaking type of situation with Heather.
You know, whatever happened with their breakup really kind of devastated him and just left him vulnerable to someone like Shirley.
Andrew, you know you can do a lot better. So,
Hmm.
I can't.
He'd poke fun of
Yeah,
himself
he
all the
would.
time.
He'd always...
He'd say, oh, he's a short, portly little fella.
Yeah.
I'm dressed like I am.
Pretty alive.
Please.
Shut up, Robin.
You can do better.
It was a comfort, and in Newfoundland, it was somebody to be around, and he enjoyed it.
We didn't really have a commitment or, you know, big future plan or anything like that. We do date other people. And
oh, it's just a senior year thing.
After graduation, he came back to the U.S. to do a surgery residency in Syracuse, New York, and he was miserable.
He hated it.
Shirley also decided to move to the States to practice.
You're in Omaha, right?
actually, no. I'm in Council Bluffs, which is in Iowa.
And I owe it all to you.
Dirty bitch. Shut up, Robin.
Thank you so much, Mike, Captain Mike, for them buddies, and welcome in.
Effort to maintain a relationship with him.
W, Captain.
Something else besides the
Captain
misery
always
that
got
it
that
sounded
W.
like his internship was. It was hard for him to pass up.
He pretty quickly realized that surgery wasn't for him and switched to a family practice residency in Latrobe, Pennsylvania in July of 2001, and he loved it.
He said, "You finally find that thing that you know is your
How
niche."
dare you?
Your
Ashley,
band,
this is
Robin.
Your band, that's
And
funny.
he now wanted her to
Your band.
He did not invite her to Matt's
Yeah, and
wedding.
she thought she was going to be coming. She
thought
just
was
already
gonna
had
be
it arranged.
The morning of the wedding, Andrew's cell phone started ringing. And he'd answer it, and it's Shirley. A minute or two later, it'd ring again, and it's her again. Andrew got more and more upset with her. What is your fucking problem? And he clicked off the phone, and she left 30 some odd messages on his phone.
We are very close.
I understand.
His phone in his house rang like 30 times,
in his cell phone.
Valid answer.
I don't want to talk with her.
Okay.
Apparently, Andrew had already asked Shirley to accompany him to Carl and Marcy's wedding, October 20th, before July.
He had broken up with her a month before in his mind.
It sounds so easy, but it's hard when you're a genuine person who cares. He didn't know how to be a son of a bitch because he wasn't a son of a bitch.
Shirley had been really like all over Andrew, just acting possessive of him.
I said, Andrew, hey, do you want something to drink? And she said, there you go, hitting on the best man. So my jaw dropped. It had to. I remember going.
He broke up with Shirley once and for all over
Nice
lunch at the
fucking
airport
try,
in
Robin.
Pennsylvania.
I'm locked
Then he
in
put
this
her on a
bitch.
plane back
Good
to her
try.
place in Council Bluffs, Iowa, 1,000 miles away.
I remember the morning that Shirley showed up. He said, you'll never guess who showed up on my doorstep at 5:30. And I said, who? He said, the psychotic bitch. And I told him, I said, you know, Andrew, when I break up with somebody and put them on a plane and send them 1,300 miles away, I said, they knock on my front door, I'm going out the back door, and I'm calling the police. He said, what do you mean? I said, Andrew. I said, be serious. Nobody drives 16 hours after you've just broken up with them. I said, do not meet her in prison.
Yeah, that's crazy.
He said, what can happen? And he said, I'm going to need to catch up with you, and we're going to have to do some serious talking. Well, I said, bring some beer. I only live a block away. I said, when do you think you'll be done? He said, well, it's 4:30 now. Meeting her at 6. 7:30, I'll be at your house. Things people should know about Andrew. He was never late. And you know what? When Andrew didn't show up at 7:30, I knew something was very wrong. And when I went back down at 9 o'clock and didn't see his car there, I knew something was wrong.
Let me tell you the events of the day.
Andrew didn't show up for morning report. Morning report ended around 8 o'clock. I went down to my office. I called Andrew's house.
You reached Andrew Bagby. Please leave a message at the tone. Thank you.
Hey, Bags, this is Clark. Just called to say hello and see where you're at. I'm going to stop by your house here in about 5 minutes and meet you just out the door.
Called his cell phone, Andrew, where are you at? No answer in either one.
As I recall,
Good night, Robin.
close to 9 o'clock.
Good night, Robin.
Have a good sleep.
Some of the residents are starting to get a little nervous.
But I remember Bill coming in and standing in front of the television and telling us.
One of the ER docs turned to me and said, you know, they found a body in scrubs out at Keystone Park.
Dead silence fell over, a heaviness like I've never felt. And eventually almost everyone was congregated there just waiting for more news.
Rhonda got the call and she said to me, they need you in Mr. Clark's office right now. And I remember my heart pounding, going up damn near a sprint. I opened the door and I remember seeing 3 Pennsylvania State Police troopers in uniform sitting in the room. And I said, you're here to tell me about Andrew Bagby, aren't you?
They asked for us to all to gather in the conference room, and they closed the door.
He cleared his throat.
He just walked right up to the podium and he said,
Andrew Bagby is dead.
And I said, well, you don't have to look far. They're like, what do you mean?
I like him.
Andrew at all, or?
Yeah, I'm afraid it is. I said, this woman was in town. She was here.
I have to tell you that Andrew is dead.
Are you sure?
Yes, ma'am, I am. I'm absolutely sure.
I said, find her, and I think you'll find who did this.
His parents don't even know, do they? Oh my God, you can't tell us over the phone. Make sure that she's with his dad.
A summary of the evidence
That doesn't make
against
sense what you're
Shirley
saying, brother.
He was found on the morning of Tuesday, November 6th, laying behind his car in a parking lot at Keystone State Park in Derry Township, Pennsylvania. A man walking through Keystone Park at 6:10 p.m. the previous evening, November 5th, had seen his black Toyota Corolla parked next to an SUV. This was 10 minutes after he told Clark he was going to meet Shirley.
Meeting her at 6.
Shirley drove a Toyota RAV4 SUV.
Woo, I want a RAV4 so bad.
The face, the chest, twice in the buttocks, and in the back of the head. He also received a blunt trauma to the back of the head.
That didn't sound random. That sounded like rage and vengeance.
The ammunition used was CCI .22 caliber bullets. There were 6 spent casings and 1 live round on the ground beside him. Shirley owned a Phoenix Arms .22 caliber handgun.
I'm not going to kid you, Doctor.
I know.
I'm interested in the gun. And you just bought the gun, right? Not too long ago?
Yeah, well, I have it for protection.
Yeah, I can understand that. I'm just
and I wanted to know for safety. And I thought instruction was a good thing.
I agree.
She had 3 lessons with a firearms instructor who said that at her last lesson, she was using CCI 22 caliber ammunition, and her gun malfunctioned and would sometimes eject live rounds onto the ground.
Crazy.
You'd be willing to turn the gun into your local police department so they could get it to us to let us look at it.
Yes.
Then she said, no, I can't find it.
It's either in my closet or my bedroom, or it's in the car.
Then she said, I gave the gun to Andrew.
She claims she was homesick all day on Monday, November 5th.
I mean, even though I was homesick yesterday.
When did you last contact?
I think it was Sunday, and I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean,
The cell phone records show that a phone call was made here, 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 and here.
But while she claims to be home in bed, she's making cell phone calls from Chicago, Illinois at 7:08 and 7:10 p.m. on Sunday, November.
Thanks for the follow, brother.
Bend, Indiana at 10:19
What's
p.m.
crack-a-lagging?
Another from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania at 8:07 a.m. the next morning, November 5th, the day he was killed. She logged onto eBay that morning from his computer at his house.
And back again.
At
Ain't no way.
6 p.m. that night, she makes
hello.
clearly on her
Welcome.
Another call from Stewart, Iowa at 9:48 a.m.
What is crack-a-lacking?
She got home to Council Bluffs.
You're so
and this
extra,
one's
brother.
to him.
Calm down. I'm joking. I love you. Don't hit me.
Okay, because I actually love chat. Cool, we get it. You don't love your fucking chat.
She goes so hard,
When she
so
realized that she
fast,
couldn't possibly
brother.
rest in bed when she'd been caught
love
making cell
it.
phone calls from
Maybe don't be a cuck.
She changed her story again.
And she said, I gave the gun to Andrew in the parking lot.
We're watching some true crime.
Trunk.
This is a documentary on Amazon
Okay, but I'm also
Prime,
mad at
and
you
it
because
happened
you lied to
in
me.
Canada.
No, it didn't. It happened in America. A Canadian
Oh, just
committed
wait.
the fucking crime.
Just wait. The worst part happened in Canada.
Oh god.
Anywho's.
Doesn't make logical sense.
Oh, just
Really
wait. It gets worse. This is not the
She
worst.
did this.
God.
She planned it. She is a manipulative, deceitful planner of a murder.
and I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean,
In order to prove her whereabouts when she made these phone calls, each individual cell tower along her 16-hour drive had to be manually checked, which was a process that took almost 2 weeks. While the police were uncovering this crucial piece of evidence, Shirley left the United States for her home in St. John's, Newfoundland.
We were absolutely helpless for the whole time we were in Latrobe after this initial nightmare. The other residents and Andrew's, they're Andrew's friends now, came in, sat with us, brought us meals. They had a sign-up sheet at the hospital to bring us a dinner, sit and cry with us, and listen.
God, I can't imagine, bro.
Cry some more. Great people.
I mean, the whole hospital grieved. It was profound. Just picture the masses that just came out for that.
From memorials in Newfoundland to California to England
To St. Louis.
to Latrobe.
I'm so proud to say that I love him so very much.
I know I'd be happy if I had 1/10 of people who cares 1/2 about me as much as I did Andrew. All of us, I mean, I just name a few, Michelle, Chris, Matt, John, Heather, we all grew up under your roof. And in one way or another, you raised all of us. And we are your children. You still do have children there, and we do love you. And I want you to remember that every single night when you're going to sleep and every single day when you're waking up.
Well, I know at the point that we had the memorial service, she was back in Canada. Actually, she was there at the memorial service that we had
She
here.
broke down crying during the service and sobbing really loud. And, you know, I wonder if it was all just for a show.
And then
Oh, obviously.
Dead ass it was.
She came up and sort of butted one of my friends out beside me and said just awful things. And obviously, I cared a lot more about him than he ever cared about me, and I definitely wasn't important in his life. Got an email from Shirley, a horrible, scathing email. It was all basically I was nothing and she was everything. How wonderful their love was and how that'll never die now.
To try to lure her back to the United States, Shirley was invited to the memorial service in California, but she didn't take the bait. So finally, she was charged. She was arrested in St. John's, Newfoundland on December 12, 2001, and was let go on bail the very same day.
Linda's flight
Crazy.
risk,
I
it
hate
seemed
bail
to me
for that
common sense that
bullshit.
if she isn't in the jurisdiction
Just wait till you see who bailed her bitch ass out, bro.
jurisdiction where they want her. She's fled.
Crown prosecutor
Crazy.
Madden did not even argue against her release on bail and instead entered the courtroom with an agreement already in place for her release. Pending the next hearing in the extradition process to the United States, all Justice David Russell required Shirley to do was post $75,000 in sureties. $65,000 of this was posted by her personal psychiatrist, but I'll come back to him. Turn in her passports, sign in once a week at the local police station, promise not to leave Newfoundland, and avoid contact with these people. And with that, the government of Canada let a probable premeditated first-degree murderer walk the streets.
I thought it was crazy.
Should never be. Should never have been.
I thought it was insane. Who the hell?
See? Canada
what
sucks.
the
I
fuck?
could not believe this was happening. But the most unbelievable part was when we found out about
In Texas, electric chair.
I just got a call from Mrs. Bagby. The abbreviated version is, what's her bucket, that bitch, held a press conference and announced that she's 4 months pregnant with Andrew's baby. They can't prove it until the child's born. If it is true that Bagby's are going to sue for custody.
My movie now took on a whole new meaning. It was no longer just my search for what was left of your dad. It might be the only way you could one day go back in time, see, and get to know him.
This is a time machine. Yes, a time machine.
And I vowed to collect every memory for you before they were gone. So finally, I set off. First, I would go to England to interview your grandma's side of the family for you. Then I'd return to the US to do an epic road trip across North America. I'd start on the west coast of California and motor east, stopping to interview all of your dad's friends and family along the way. And I would keep driving until the land ran out.
What a real friend, bro.
The easternmost point
That's
in all of
fucking
North
insane.
America, where the last living piece of Andrew, you, would be waiting for me. I grabbed a digital video camera, a 16mm wind-up movie camera, and an old Nikon.
I have a good idea.
Did you get that? Did you piece that together?
Yes, I did. Wait, what part?
The bitch is pregnant.
Yes, I knew. I know.
Gross.
I'll go back in time and stop you from dying.
And set off on a quest to bring your dad back to
Grody.
life. And while I raced to rescue your history, your grandma and grandpa quit their jobs, dug into their savings, and gave up everything to move to Newfoundland to fight for your future.
I love them. I love them so much.
met Kate and David in the spring.
Protect the grandparents at all costs.
I'll never forget it.
Oh, for real.
A lawyer to assist them in making sure that their rights and the baby's rights were protected, I guess. I instantly liked them. I thought that it was so important that they have a relationship with that child.
Our lawyer, Jackie, went to see Betty Day, an administrator somewhere in the hierarchy of Child Protective Services, and told her that we, the Bagbys, are concerned about the safety of the baby because the mother is accused of a premeditated murder.
To me, I thought they were very emotionally intelligent in how they were bearing up under all of this incredible
Her
stress.
accent
You
is
know, they
so
had breakfast on
thick,
the afternoon,
brother.
the
I
next morning they
love
had
it.
to record it.
I
Look
can't.
at
That's great.
When
Ooh,
your
I
grandma
love
and grandpa
Canadians,
first arrived
bro.
in
Their
Canada, they were
accents
told
be nuts
the law
sometimes.
is slow. And they weren't kidding. February 15th, prosecutor Mike Madden acknowledged that the extradition request had been received. They adjourned until March 11th, when they decided they'd reconvene to select a date for the extradition hearing on March 25th, where they decided to set the date for the extradition hearing for May 27th, where they got caught up debating the French versus English translations of Section 32 of the Extradition Act and decided to adjourn for a specific translation until June 11th, a hearing
Are
which
you fucking
lasted
kidding
5
me?
minutes, at which Judge Derek Green said he wasn't in a position to rule on the translation. and
Yeah,
would
it's so
adjourn again
dumb.
Until July 30th. And while they waited for justice and for you to arrive, your grandma and grandpa made a new home and new friends.
Actually made friends all over St. John's, people in the legal community, the medical community. But here at St. Michael's, yeah, they got right in there and got right involved. It seems like they've always been here.
Basically, they have more friends in Newfoundland now than we do.
Well, it's a very
Aw, thanks, Aqua.
Mass is as big as, well, maybe not quite as big as California, but not far off. And yet we only have 530,000.
Appreciate you, brother.
Scattered over that landmass.
You can't go.
Welcome. You've missed a lot of good parts, but it's okay. I'll forgive you.
The big drawback against living here is getting out of here.
The weather here is terrible. The weather is awful. We have 8 months of winter and 4 months of bad weather.
And the other very consistent thing that I hear
That's okay.
is so friendly.
How would you describe them to someone who'd never met them before?
Do you have an hour?
Okay, so far there's a man named Andrew Bagby. He started dating this girl named Shirley Turner. They're both doctors, so like everyone that's getting interviewed is also a doctor, because that was like, you know, their entire friend group. And then the grandparent, or his parents, Andrew's parents. So Shirley killed Andrew. Canada let her out of prison or jail, whatever the fuck, on bail. Dumb as fuck. And we've just found out that Shirley's pregnant with Andrew's kid.
I was hoping you would ask me.
There you go, you're up to speed.
Young at heart. Childish. That's not the right word.
He's an engineer in the truest sense of the word.
The guy likes Pintos, okay?
Logical. Does
Juicy.
things in steps, logical steps.
Comparing Andrew as a teenager and Dave as a teenager, they're almost
He's an older model.
It was wonderful.
Wonderful.
He always calls you mate. His father does, mate. How you doing, mate? And Kate calls you love.
Oh, I thought she was feisty.
Like a little ball of fire.
She's so cute.
And then big things come out of her.
It's great that she's on his side because she'll always stand up for what she believes in and those that she loves.
They're a rare pair. They were from the start. In itself, it's quite a story, their marriage, you know.
I was going to come here, for the 2 years, and I was going on to Australia for 2 years, work my way around the world, and then I was going back to Devon. And I wasn't going to get married because that was not on my list of things to do at all.
I was in the Navy, stationed on an aircraft carrier, the Hornet, in Long Beach, California. A guy came into the shop one day, ET electronics shop, and said he had 2 English nurses who wanted to go to Disney.
We were too cheap to pay the fare.
Yeah, 2 cheap English nurses. And I took the little one and left him with the tall one. And they didn't work out so well, but we did. We went out 13 times in the first 2 weeks.
And he could quote Shakespeare, by the way, so I knew it was all right. 5 months.
They're so cute. I can't. I love old people.
Right? I love hearing their love stories and how they met. Things like love was so much more romantic in the 50s, even though rights were horrible.
That's why I love working in nursing homes. The amount of veteran stories that I just love to sit there and listen to that make me behind schedule and I don't even care. It's amazing.
That's funny.
I love old people.
And then, I mean, it was, it was like a...
Sue and Bob.
St. Louis, sleeping
Wow.
in my mother's bedroom seemed to make people pregnant.
And then, of course, Andrew didn't come. He was
My mother's bedroom seems to make people pregnant. I can't. So cute. Such a cutie.
It's 9 o'clock Thursday. Shirley went into labor around 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Newfoundland time.
On July 18th, 2002, you were born.
I just realized that is a day after my first son was born. Wild.
Shirley named you Zachary Andrew Turner.
Wild.
Your grandma and grandpa came to the hospital to see you, but Shirley wouldn't let them in the door. They stood 5 feet away from you on the other side of a wall. They left a gift for you.
Shirley's such a piece of fucking shit, bro.
Anything you'd like to say to her, Zachary?
Well, your dad
I wonder if that bitch is dead. I hope so. I'm about to Google it.
range of different perspectives of this guy. You're going to know what his character was like, and you're going to know what fun he was to be with. And you're going to know that you can be proud of him.
I flew to England to collect the memories of your grandma's side of the family for you, and arrived just in time for a very special occasion.
Well, we're on the eve of my wedding, for a start. But it's been a bit hectic. We're just trying to fit this interview in between all of the preparations.
Your dad crossed the Atlantic to come here almost every summer, but instead of heading to the tourist attractions in London like everyone else, he'd head to the outskirts to spend time with his grandparents, aunts, uncles, and cousins.
He was a king to me, man. Seriously, man.
And in particular, with his cousin John.
The main thing, I guess, about being an only child is that I get to choose my brothers. Others of you don't. Sorry.
John, my brother, and Andrew have born within a month of each other. In fact, I think it was about 30 seconds of like the normal child, who are you, who are you? And then suddenly, snap, that was it.
We often said at least they would have each other through life. John would always have Andrew, and Andrew would always have John. And
for me, kind of blur into this kind of haze of me and Andrew running around castles, country homes, gardens, I mean these fantastic, historical places. And to us, they were places to play hide and seek, buy water pistols, shoot each other, and then get told off and thrown out. The interesting thing always was just like the cultural differences between someone coming from the US and someone in the UK. You know, that used to really bug me. The fact that I knew he was going to get Star Wars, you know, kind of 6 months before me, that was a killer. Because, you know, it'd be like, you know, don't you dare tell anything about this film. It was almost kind of as well my kind of the chaperone into discovering the US, really. You hear people discriminate against the whole country just in one foul swoop. You know, but I was fortunate enough to know very differently to that.
I really cherish that because it is my brother that got married here tonight.
Bizarrely enough, one of the things is I always wanted Andrew to be my best man at my wedding.
As I would soon find out, he was in good company.
I'd always wanted him to be my best man.
I'd asked him to be my best man.
It just made sense to have him as best man. I can only assume that you would have asked him to be your best man.
Everybody grab your glass. We're going to turn over to the best man, Andrew.
Best man's a little bit of a poor title for these things. I mean, the best man's really the groom.
I've got to try and sum up 20 some odd years in like 2 minutes or so, because, you know, then people will start looking at the champagne and thinking, Bagby, shut up or die.
I miss him a lot. I wish he was here at the wedding with us. I'd just like to just sit him down and talk to him again. Just to have him here with us.
I really believe your dad was there that day. And if we could have heard him give his toast, it might have sounded something like this.
Why am I standing up here? I guess part of it I've already said. We're brothers, and I love you, and I know you love me, and yeah, I kind of need to move on from that because, like I said, I'm a Bagby male. We don't gush very much.
Made me realise that it doesn't matter where you come from. You can meet someone and literally within minutes you can be closer than someone you've known for 20 years. Someone who maybe just end up then as a friend for the rest of your life.
And last question, is there anything you'd like to say to Zachary?
Zachary. Right, I hope to see you soon, Zachary, anyway.
Zachary is the baby.
Jackie had been down earlier in the day to file the papers that we wanted custody of the baby. We finally went to court because
You mean family court?
Yes, in family court.
Yeah.
You know, they negotiated with her. I think you know that already. And what access they got with Shirley, they negotiated.
We're coming up with agreements with this accused murderer, and Shirley Turner came up with something else just at the moment when it was all looking good. She always did that so that it was extended. It was like, I don't have to pay for my lawyer, you have to pay for yours, so the longer I can make it, it's better, you know, you run out of money. But then she finally agreed to give us 1 hour a week in Unified Family Court.
Shirley delayed your grandma and grandpa from meeting you for almost a month and had them treated like common criminals in order to see you. She required that during their 1 hour visit they be fully searched and monitored by a supervisor while she waited in the next room. When did you first meet him?
Meet him personally or meet him by seeing the light in Kate and David's eyes?
I mean, we were searched and everything. I couldn't wait for them to search. I would have zipped off all my clothes and be, as long as I could get into that baby, you know. We went around the corner and there was this overpowering thing that...
Oh, look at that little face.
So cute.
Oh, yeah, I want to see that one more time. That was perfect.
Look at that little nose.
We did not do.
I love babies.
Me too.
I just gave him to Kate.
No, we shared.
We took turns. The next visit he was really...
The next time he was dirty, so I changed his diaper, and that's when he opened his eyes to just kind of look at me, and that's when I said to David, oh my God, he's Andrew.
I had seen lots of pictures of Andrew at this point, and even pictures of him as a child, and I thought, holy crow, you know, there's no doubt.
We wanted more time. So we went back, and this time she accused us of keeping him beyond the time so that he was distraught when he went back to her. And
She'd try a lot of manipulations without thinking them through. And this one was, you know, a no-brainer, really. If she accuses us of doing anything wrong to the baby, she's indirectly accusing Maureen of being a slouch.
The supervisor.
the supervisor. You know, Maureen's not going to take that. So she just didn't think it through.
While your grandparents and Jackie battled Shirley for more time with you in family court, the law in the extradition proceedings was still slow. September 19th, the extradition hearing finally began.
Yes, Aqua.
But just as everything was moving along
Love
smoothly,
little
Shirley's lawyer, Randy
babies.
Piercy,
They're
threw a
so
wrench into the
cute.
works. Because the authority to proceed with these hearings provided by the Minister of Justice early that year had failed to specify subsections 1 or 2 of Section 229A of the Criminal Code, the authority to proceed was invalid, the 90-day limit to amend was now passed, and therefore all extradition proceedings against Shirley should be dropped so she could get on with her life. Judge Derek Green now had to rule on whether or not to throw out the entire case, which
They're
would
so
take
fucking
place
stupid,
on October
bro.
18th, which was delayed 4 days until October 22nd, where Judge Green told Piercy to forget
Screaming Hannibal.
continue with the extradition hearing on
Girl.
Meanwhile, I came back to California, pointed the van east toward Newfoundland, and set off across the continent on my way to see you, stopping all over the map to collect the memories of a whole spectrum of people your dad touched. But it was when I pulled into St. Louis to see your grandpa's family. Are you the oldest?
Yeah, I'm the oldest. Bob was the middle one. He's 1 year younger than me.
That I discovered a very special place where your dad had left his heart.
Andrew and Bob are very, very close.
To see them around each other, you'd think that Andrew had grown up his entire life around Bob. You wouldn't know that it was once a summer relationship.
Bob used to take Andrew out and let him drive the truck before he was old enough.
Yeah.
They played pool.
And my dad was very good at pool, but then Matt came along who was even probably better at pool.
I would say he was excellent, but he wasn't as good as me. He probably still owes me around $30,000.
Is my daughter Rhonda's first husband. I don't know, they just clicked. I mean, they just clicked. I can't explain why or anything, but that...
Automatically my little brother. That's the way I looked at it. So, we just become friends.
I love them redneck uncles, bro. They're so fucking funny.
And he used to love to come down here. As soon as he'd hit town, we'd come down here and we'd just stay for days. Dave and Katie and them would come out, always have big barbecue or fish fry.
Get the John boat and head up the river.
He was captain. Me and Bob got to the point where we didn't even think about who was going to drive the boat if Andrew was
At
gonna be
nighttime, they'd
Let me drive the boat.
and build a bonfire, and we'd buy fireworks. It was beautiful because it was real dark
That's
out
really
there.
stupid me checking to see if you're hurt when you're going to be a damn doctor. You ought to know yourself. I said if you're smart, you'd be a gynecologist.
Doctor came into
I'm dead.
and said he had bad news. He said that the cancer had spread to his bones and to his liver. Mom looked at him and said, I want the truth. He said 3 to 6 months.
That's what happened to my grandpa. That shit spreads fast as fuck, bro.
I just don't have time anymore.
They're giving him emotes immortal. Appreciate you, brother.
Well, I lost total interest in a lot of things when Bob died for some reason.
I know it's hard on Andrew, too. Plus, he wrote me a little note, letter. Bob was very proud of him.
Imagine him and Andrew are laughing at me right now. Those assholes.
I love it.
What's that now? Yeah, I'm still sad. It'll be okay. Here, come give me a hug. That would be good.
Is there anything you'd like to say to Zachary about his dad?
It was great.
Anything I can do, I'll be there.
Well, we hope to see him. Then we can show him pictures and everything.
Yeah, we'd love to be a part of that as well. To share our lives with him.
Oh, how I wish I could be there and pinch those little cheeks.
Zachary, you'll never know what you missed.
Hi, Kurt. It's Michelle. I'm just calling.
Bro, if I died, my family would not give a fuck like this, bro. Oh, I love you, Aqua. We love you long time.
November 14th, 2002, Judge Derek Green declared that a properly instructed jury could likely find Shirley guilty and ordered her incarcerated in the Clarenville Correctional
Fuck you, you
Center
dumb
for life,
bitch.
awaiting a decision from the Minister of Justice to surrender her to the United States.
She always seemed to know exactly when to turn nice.
And it was a pretty obvious time to turn nice.
Suddenly, Shirley turned around and gave your grandma and grandpa custody of you for as long as she was in prison.
$5 made me holla, brother.
They were so excited it was Christmas Eve.
Oh shit.
You know, it had started to snow a little bit,
Sometimes I
and
think
the doorbell
she's
was
beyond
ringing,
the
and
help
someone
of
showed up with a
Jesus
present.
Christ
And then
himself.
I think Alan Goodrich, he was a professor, one of Andrew's professors. He showed up with
something. I don't know what. And then, you know, finally, I said, "What do you got? Like the Magi showing up at the at your house?"
We went to church with them on Christmas Eve. If Zachary got fussy, you know, they would pick him up and they would feed him and they'd walk to the back of the church. If there's people in this church that don't know the five of us, it looks like these are the grandparents, we're the parents.
Ooh.
Zachary is our child. I said, we look like terrible parents.
He was besotted with them. The child was, you know, no one could comfort him, only Kate. They were so happy.
But it wasn't all sweetness and light. You came with strings attached.
The reason we reached consent and the reason she reached consent is if you reach consent, you have some control. We accept a phone call a day from jail to talk about Zachary.
Which the foster home would have done anyway, see?
This is Alliant Telecom. You have a collect call from Shirley. You may press 1 now.
You can only get 10 tickets total. Aqua.
Just got up. He's a little weary-eyed, but there you go, boss.
Sally Goose.
How's our baby?
Boo, you whore.
Oh, hi. Are you having a good day with Grandmama and Granddad? Zachary, I love you, baby.
No, you don't.
Mommy
Shut the fuck
loves
up.
you.
Get the fuck out of here.
Mommy misses you. Christmas is
Tried my luck.
I hate every time I call you, I have to ask you guys a favor, but you're not supposed to know.
If you want more, you just gotta give some subs.
Some of those frames in the dollar stores will
I'm
say,
just kidding.
there'll
Don't
be
do
little
that.
sayings on them. Like, if you want to say Mommy and Daddy on a frame and stick a picture of me and Andrew in it, I don't know.
Shut the
Or,
fuck up, you
know,
stupid
Mommy
bitch.
with baby. What about the one of me and Andrew? Did you have anything with that? Or not yet. Not yet. Do you feel all right about putting that up? Not quite yet. Yes.
Yeah, no, fuck
I
you.
want to ask you, how is Kate doing? I thought about her all night. I wrote her a long letter last night to try and make her feel better.
I think, you know, I gotta say it again.
Yes.
The details are too touchy for us to do like this. I think our lawyers should hammer them out.
It's almost amazing to me how well you guys are taking care of him the way I would be taking care of him. Even Randy Pierce, he was like, Shirley, are you sure you can trust these people? And I said, yes, I am. He said, do you really believe they love the child? I said, yes, as much as I do.
We'd bring him up to the prison for a weekly visit.
That you would
Stupid
have
fucking
from
cuck.
2 to 4, and then again from 5 to 7.
That was astounding. Imposition.
Each week they would drive 2 hours to the jail where Shirley was so that she would be able to see her son and to follow the visitation rights. Because just as Kate and David wanted visitation rights, they had to honor Shirley's visitation rights.
And in the winter.
But the weather, needless to say, in Newfoundland.
The weather here is terrible.
To make that journey was awful.
Okay. I don't disagree with a mother being able to see her child. However, you literally killed the child's father. Okay? Let's start there. You literally killed your son's fucking dad.
We don't even know why yet. We don't even know why the fuck she did it, I don't even know if we're gonna know why.
Just because she's psycho. Like, literally just because she's fucking insane. They never got, like, a reasoning or a confession or anything out of her. She just... because she's fucking psycho.
Damn.
But, like, once you've killed someone, anyone, but that someone specifically being your child's father, you shouldn't be able to see your child anymore. You're a threat. You're a danger to them. Like, what the fuck? What are these people doing?
Only
Jesus.
They would have done it, really, I think. Nobody else would have done it.
The one
So
guard,
stupid.
The one day said to Kate and David, speaking to Zachary, Zachary, I hope someday you will realize how brave and courageous your grandparents are.
Like, I think if I could be a quarter of the grandma that Kate is, I'd be such a success.
Hmm.
You know, seeing them with Zachary,
Just to see the looks on their faces, Kurt, when they'd have him, you know. You know, to see them so happy. And then, you know, that ended, didn't it?
Now crossing the east coast of the U.S., I
Right?
was to you. I pulled off the
These
main road for
fucking
one last stop.
judicial
Small town
systems are so
Kentucky, where
fucking
Dad had spent the
stupid.
last 4 months of his life. It was here that I would find the only people who knew what he was like as a doctor, just days before they would graduate and scatter to the winds.
Oh, Latrobe is famous for Mr. Rogers,
of children's TV fame.
Rolling Rock beer. It's the birthplace of professional football, though Some would argue that.
It's Strickler's Pharmacy. I'm told that the banana split was invented here in Latrobe.
And Arnold Palmer.
Mr. Palmer is a very important figure in this community.
This is a community where people don't even lock their doors.
I thought that was some cool little fun facts. That's
From the
pretty cool.
hospital, giving him a 30-second commute to work.
And I said, can I call you Andy? And he goes, actually, I don't like Andy.
He said you can call me Andrew, call me Bagby, you can call me Bags.
I never did.
10 minutes after I arrived, Dr. Bill DiCuccio picked me up to show me around town.
Was there anyone
I was looking at chat, bitch.
His class.
You thought.
And after hanging with Bill for a short while, I completely understood why.
This is yours to take with you in your travels to remember the chief's office.
They were like, come on, Jeff.
They were Tweedledee and Tweedledum.
Bill was just devastated, as we all were, but especially so. I think Bill had spent more time with him. And I know there's a third-year resident, Clark, was quite close with him.
He was this surgical resident from Syracuse.
Being a former surgical intern, that's a big deal. They're all about cutting, and what we do is a little bit different. It's more about people. I would say to him, now you go out there and you go and you listen to the heart and you talk to those people because, you know, like people talk. They're not just unconscious all the time.
You're a bitch.
Office visit every Monday afternoon at the last place he was ever seen.
That was really loud.
Clinic in the small town of Salzburg, a beautiful 30-minute drive away through the country, past a lovely spot called Keystone State Park.
He was already, just within a couple of months, already getting patients to call and specifically ask for him.
You done scared everybody, bro.
His medicine's a little like being a detective.
Has anyone else in your family experienced this?
When you think of people who have passed, you can't help but paint a rosy glow around them.
More than half of it is being able to get a story out of somebody.
It's not what's happening in this case.
I'll always be grateful to him because
No,
he diagnosed my
you
nephews
didn't get
cancer.
me.
He
It was just
diagnosed
really
it.
loud.
He was able to get complete treatment.
He was really pretty outstanding at this stuff.
He was told he may never have children.